know for people it's hard. I know for people it's hard to say the name of the loved one, talk about it. It feels like you're asking for pity. It feels like, people are probably like, oh God, there she goes again, talking about her dead husband again, and like, I don't have that fear. I just am like, this is how I'm dealing with it. If you don't want to hear me talk about him, then you aren't my friend right now.
Big show today, guys.
Happy to be with you.
Gabby Bernstein, a role model for a new generation of spiritual seekers.
I wonder when you connect to this grief within you, is your spiritual connection to him part of the healing process? Like, do you talk to him? Because I think a lot of people that are suffering with grief right now, they may be like, I don't know if I could get to where she's at right now. Like, she's doing really good, but
Yeah.
what else can I do?
Yeah, well, that's also so, it's so weird to say you're doing really good with your grief, it's like, so it's, but um yeah, I'm only dealing with this grief how I know how to deal with it. And I don't know how to deal with it because it's never happened to me before. So I'm dealing with it as just Amanda and how I'm finding myself deal with grief. I haven't really read many books on grief. Because for me, I just felt weird to be going through it. And then at night, when I finally have time for
Yeah.
myself to like pick up a book on what I'm living through, felt
Right.
like
Right.
a knife in my, or slitting my wrist again.
Yes.
So listen, I've gone through it by keeping him alive. His photos are everywhere. I talk about Nick all the time. I talk to Nick all the time. I ask him for signs all the time. I play his music all the time. I sing his songs all the time. I talk to him, about him to everyone I know. I FaceTime with his family once a week. But I think it's helped me because it makes me feel like he's still here. Like he could walk in the door and no time has passed. I feel like if he walked in the door, Elvis would run up to him and go dada. Like, I don't think Elvis has necessarily even thought of like that time. I don't think he can register that difference in time right now.
And he can still see him.
Yeah, for sure. For
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially in the car, I feel like he's sometimes like just gets into like really like giggly land. And I say to him, I'm like, are you talking to Dada right now? Are you seeing Dada? And he just laughs and smiles and gets really shy. And yeah, that's a whole other, thing. But like, yeah, I don't know how else to deal with it other than how I'm dealing with it.
Yeah.
But I know for people it's hard. I know for people it's hard to say the name of the loved one, talk about it. It feels like you're asking for pity. It feels like, people are probably like, oh God, there she goes again, talking about her dead husband again, and like, I don't have that fear. I just am like, this is how I'm dealing with it. If you don't want to hear me talk about him, then you aren't my friend right now.
Actually, I think that's such a good example of how I think I've witnessed you just from a social media standpoint go through the process is by exactly what you just said, speaking about it, celebrating him, inviting him into the conversation, and not in any way just shutting that part of that relationship down. And that's what I meant earlier about establishing a relationship with somebody in a spiritual form, because of course there's nothing that will make us feel the same way we felt when we were in the physical presence with someone, but it is a relationship to a spirit guide, and he is a guide for you without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
And it's a different form of relationship, a different form of communication. But when you're sitting there outside where you got married and you're crying, you're with him. He's moving through you. He's obviously moving through your child. When you're dancing, he's with you. When you're singing his songs, he's with you. So and we really can develop and fine tune that relationship. Well, it may not be the one that we want it to be. It's still a relationship. And whenever I've spoken to people about loss throughout my career, that's my frame of reference of how to really move through that, is welcoming a new relationship, accepting it's not going to be the same. But in many ways, for some folks, it's better because maybe it was like in the spirit form, they can forgive them, or, there's ways of really perceiving the person through a different lens.
Yeah.
And so I know that you're doing that intuitively. Just
And
you're
well,
just
and I never thought that was something I would do. You know what I mean? Again, like this is a perfect example of not knowing how you're going to get through this. I never thought I would have a spiritual relationship with Nick. I never thought that that's something I could even try to do or have. I thought he would pass and, that would be that. And you are so right. I had my earthly relationship with Nick, and now I'm having a spiritual relationship with him. And it is very real. And I do feel his presence and I do feel his guidance. And it is wonderful if because it's either welcoming in that or nothing, right?
correct.
And like,
Exactly.
so I choose welcoming it in, even if it sounds bonkers to other people. I
No,
don't
not
care.
bonkers here. Not bonkers here.
I know not bonkers here, but a lot of people, Gabby, would say that. They would say like that, oh, you're talking to spirits or you think, I mean, but listen, like I said, I'd rather take a spiritual relationship over no relationship. And it is real. It's very real and it's wonderful.
I hope you're enjoying this show. And if you want to get more Gabby, you can click the link below, subscribe to my Dear Gabby podcast on Apple, be the first to know when the episodes drop because they come out 1 week before the video. And you can download it to your phone, listen to it while you're driving, while you're cooking, while you're working out. You can just get more Gabby wherever you are. And if you feel called, leave a review. I'd love to hear from you. Now let's get back to this episode. I mean, you have the ability to physically feel him move you, or you do physically feel him by feeling the energy shift when he comes
Yeah.
through your child. So it's actually really now about developing that language even more, just consciously, because you've done it, because you, like your son, are a very wide open portal just as a human being. Like your energy is open, your eyes are bright. You're just, when I think of you as an open being, not someone who's kind of hovering and shut down. And so that openness also makes you an easy to access. And also the desire, it's like just being in that communication, that desire, because so many people I've met throughout my career, even without that openness, without the joy, without the resilience, without the desire, with the desire maybe unconsciously, but without really communicating with their deceased loved one, the deceased loved one will still swoop in and just tell them stories and make things happen.
Right.
And it's such a privilege to be able to have that kind of connection to spirit, because they are there with one purpose, which is to be there in the service of you and guide you and love you.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I was talking to a widower friend of mine, a new widower friend of mine, and he said to me, he was like, I'm too scared. I'm too scared to see someone, like a medium or somebody, or even just to really kind of let that confidence of possibility happen, because I'm too scared of it. And I told him, I said, I get it. I totally understand why, but I'm telling you that if you just open yourself up to it, it will really kind of help you feel comforted, and that fear, you won't feel fear anymore. You'll feel comfort. And we need that right now. Widows and widowers, you need comfort, and more than anything. So I just encourage, yes,
Work with a medium? Have you worked with a medium to speak to him? Have you connected to him that way?
I did. I worked with a medium when he was in the hospital, which was very interesting. And then uh, a couple of very interesting things have happened along the way, where people have reached out to me saying, your husband has contacted me, and I have to tell you all these things that he told me. And because you're right, I am like this, especially right now, open arms and open heart and mind. I say, okay, well, please tell me what he wants me to know. And it's really crazy what they say he's saying, and it's exactly what he would say to me and say about things. And so it's hard to deny.
No, it's undeniable completely. If you like this video and you want to get more Gabby, check out the next one right over here.